How's everybody doing? This is just a test run. I want to talk about physics identity. Um, Listening to this song, you want to see change. There's a question. You need to stop following the leader and become the leader to follow evidence. Now I don't have to redo this because I don't know if the vid is correct. We're going to talk about the paper that I was given by Dr. Mel Sabella. It confirms how identity can shape the student's mentality towards becoming successful in physics courses, as well as whether or not the methods used will, I want to say, entice the student to continue on a physics track. Now, there's an identity framework that they utilize in the paper. Recognition is the first. They define recognition as a perceived recognition by others as being a good student or a good physics student. Then there's performance. Well, that's merely the belief and ability to perform on required physics tasks. That's the performance. The next criterion is interest. Interest to them is declared as a desire or curiosity to think about or and understand physics. Then the last one, because there's four in this framework, is competence. It's the belief and ability to understand physics content. And that's just all of the wonderful theories and axioms that physics as a subject matter has to hold. Now, this is the framework they use to reconstruct or strengthen identity. And the identity seems to be constructed in a fashion that allows for trying to find a middle word for it, those non-seeking science members and those seeking science members as a trade, as a curriculum or discipline to uptake. They utilize this framework to affect or massage how the student will matriculate in life. And there was a significant amount of information that was presented to prove that this just does not affect all students. They went on to show how it can affect genders. Males would perform in a manner that would be primarily based upon their experiences. So the males will come in with a higher knowledge of science due to the fact that they may have read about it as a hobby, or even I don't know how else to put it, but they just had a natural affinity for sciences. Whereas females, they had more of an interpersonal help society morale based upon their location, their moment of entry into high school, several factors that affected them. But they weren't matched up to how the males were able to continuously matriculate through science education programs. Whereas females at some point would have a high performance rating and being able to display physics content and capability. But at some point, the interest would wane and the female populace would deteriorate or become marginalized, for better speak. So they say that all the students in this category, even returning students or just audience members who have no idea of science, they say that a student's identity being anybody from teacher to papa to king to whomever, a student, human being, is based upon three characteristics, or they had a Venn diagram that showed how they interconnected. But three characteristics: personal identity, This is related to the characteristics of the individual. Okay? Personal identity. Then a person's social identity. This is related to the characteristics as a member of that group. So whomever they're affiliated with also enhanced who they became or degraded how they would grow up in life. So, and then the last one was identification with physics, or just identification, as I like to call it, with uh, your talent, whatever you choose it to be. So that said, related to characteristics, this category on identification with physics is related to characteristics of understanding the physics content. Now, this is a little bit convoluted of a statement from it because there's multiple things you can pull from that, especially when you're talking about performance, going back to the framework that you utilize when you teach. So, if a person's performance is not up to date or up to par with the standards within the classroom, as well as the instructor's evaluation, who's presenting the information to the student, how can you really grade this? It's problematic. So I would think that I'm going to pause here. Mike, make sure you re-edit the video and present it for class when you get all the facts in order so far. You got all the facts in your head. You just need to work on 1 second. I want to talk about Nimrod. Nimrod Mike Tyler was, see if we can do this from memory. It's the name of a book, Reclaiming Nimrod. The reason you want to talk about Nimrod is because the Fibonacci sequence, which was around way before the art of science or art of physics, developed by Isaac Newton. Sorry, Sir Isaac Newton. Don't want to piss nobody off. The Fibonacci sequence is around, and it predated physics technology. Now the Fibonacci system was created by the Kushites, who are of African descent. So meditate that or massage that into your overall 10-minute dissertation of this article. Support this with document, not transcript. They got to figure out what I'm talking about, but just document. Nice little synopsis. It is October 13th, 2012. So for review, the name of the article before I leave was article was Connecting High School Physics Experiences, Outcome, Expectations, Physics Identity, and Physics Career Choice, a Gender Study. Hazari, Sonart, Sadler, Marie Shanahan. Document was furnished by Dr. Mel Sabella, Department of Chemistry and Physics. Article is due for posting in 2 days. That's all. Stop it.